on Radio Central WCRN. For on-demand replays of this and other shows, visit WCRNradio.com.
You can tell them to put a cork in it, but they'll tell you. It's Liquor Talking with Ryan Maloney and Spirits Medium Randall Burke. Live in the Jim Beam Cold Storage Studio at Julio's Liquors, Route 9 in Westboro.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to It's the Liquor Talking right here on WCRN AM 830. And we are broadcasting down in the Metro station at Julio's Liquors. Go to juliosliquors.com for all pertinent information. We got some great, cool stuff happening today at the store. We're going to go through some of that stuff today. But first, I'd be remiss if I didn't bring in.
Oh, here he comes.
There he comes, making his way to the dais. It is El Rey.
No, they.
Wait a minute, hold on. Because he's here for the wine of the week. All right, stop that nonsense.
Well, welcome, Ray. Do they legally have to throw flower petals at your feet when they bring you in, or is that just something?
It's in his rider.
Okay.
Yeah,
Really?
no, they don't have to, but it's really, really nice if they do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, they're
The meetings will continue until morale changes.
Well, you definitely started off with the wine of the week. I derailed the whole thing right instantly, but you poured something for us here today.
I did.
Yeah.
So today's wine of the week is from the oldest winery in Napa Valley, Charles Krug, and dates back to about 1861. And for the last 70 years has been under the stewardship of the Mondavi family, namely Peter Mondavi, and now his son is running the operation. And I had a chance to try the whole line again, revisit it this past week as Peter Mondavi was here.
Yeah.
And I just fell in love with all the wines, and I want to do a tasting at some point in the future, but the Chardonnay really stood out to me. Not only is Chardonnay the number one grape varietal white wine in the world and America, but I wanted to show a little bit of love for this one here because this is my style of Chardonnay. Most Chardonnays from California, you have that oaky, buttery style.
Can I just stop you for 1 second? Because as soon as I smelt this, I thought we were doing a European Chardonnay.
And there's a reason for that, Ryan,
Okay,
and you're exactly right. So basically what they do at Krug, they are using French oak, just like everybody in California, except it's French neutral oak, just like they use in Burgundy. So this one here goes through about 50% of new French oak during the fermentation process. And what that does, it cuts down on some of the acidity that you get because these grapes come from Carneros. And Carneros is one of the premier areas in that southern tip of Napa that is very conducive for Pinot Noir and Chardonnay. It's very cool microclimate. And what happens here, you get a very vibrant acidity to the wine that you don't really get from warmer areas in California where you get more tropical.
This is crisp instead of flabby.
Yes, correct.
Right?
Correct. So you bring this up to your nose. You're going to pick up, some honeydew melon, some citrus, obviously.
Citrus and grassy tones too.
Yeah.
Really nice.
Just like European, as you said, Ryan. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought we were trying something for France or something when I first smelled it.
Yeah, so on the palate, you get the citrus, little lime, little lemon, little toasted brioche, and a little hint of nectarine, actually. So it's for me, it's my style of Chardonnay, more Merceau style, if you will. There's still a huge segment of the population that's going to go for that oaky, buttery style, and that's great. We have a lot of that.
The lovely Jennifer doesn't like that. She goes, I'm been told not to bring home any Chardonnay that have been like heavily oaked.
Right.
She doesn't, it is very popular, but it's not everybody doesn't like that. She likes the leaner, sort of crisper, even fruit. This has got some great fruit to it, it's still like a leaner style without almost like over the top, like these butter flavors.
You get more of a truer expression of what Chardonnay should taste like. as opposed to being doctored a little bit. So yeah, I mean, it's
You mentioned the style that you like,
Mhm.
but what was that? Was it a French word or was that?
well, style is opposed to oaky, buttery style.
No, you said like Mersault.
Okay.
I think you said Mersault.
So a lot of the California Chardonnays that are oaky and buttery go through a secondary fermentation called malolactic.
Yep.
And now the wine takes on this creamy, and that's where you get that
That's the
buttery
lactic
style.
part, yeah.
And again, the oak is toasted oak, so you get that toasty oak with those kind of Chardonnays. Now in Burgundy, like Chablis, rarely any oak is used. You go down to Pouligny Montrachet and Meursault, and there's neutral oak. And I know some other winemakers up in Oregon, not that Chardonnay's a big factor in Oregon, but it's becoming that way. They're using neutral oak again because cooler climate
Cool climate.
requires a neutral oak to cut that acidity a little bit.
What do you think? So, okay. So give us the name. What is the price point on
Okay,
this?
so this is Charles Krug,
Yep.
Napa Valley, but specifically Carneros. It is $26.99.
Okay.
That's the regular price. Effective immediately. Actually, it's upstairs right now. It's 15% off for the entire week. And I invite anybody who's listening to this or watching this, come in and see me today. We'll have a bottle ready for you. You can taste it.
Try before you
And-
buy.
Yeah, and when you taste this, you're going to say, "Oh man, this is my style." You're going to love it. You're going to love it.
Now, this is at room temperature. Is that typically how Chardonnays are served, or
Well,
is
what
that
I did, our refrigerator upstairs is uber cold,
okay?
too cold. So we have a underutilized wine refrigerator behind the bar upstairs, and we put it in there. That's the perfect temperature.
Okay, so it is slightly chilled, but not.
Slightly chilled. Yeah,
It was like 57.
in
Something like
57,
that?
58.
58,
Yeah,
somewhere in
in
there?
that. Yes, yes.
It's
So-
good. I like it that way. It shows off more flavors. Like you can deaden the flavor. And you know this from whiskey, Randall. Everybody talks
Yeah,
about
if
throwing
it's
ice in it.
cold, you numb your taste buds.
Yeah,
Right,
it just
right.
you don't get the full but you don't like I'm not looking to drink warm wine anytime soon
No.
either, especially for whites, but this gives it enough of a
Well, I'm just
chill.
noticing there's no condensation on it. It doesn't feel cold, but it is slightly chilled.
Slightly
So-
chilled. Ideally, 55 to 57 degrees is the ideal temperature to drink white wine.
They consider that
it's-
what cellar temperature?
Yes.
That's cellar temperature.
My ideal
Yes.
temperature too. Otherwise, the sweating,
Oh, I thought you was talking about your body, then you're dead. You know that,
yeah.
right? Okay.
No, outside. It
Oh,
just
outside.
makes it pleasant.
Yeah. No, I like figure I'm preserving myself at night if I can make it as cold as I possibly can. Yeah. That's good. This is great, Ray. I love this one a lot.
Yeah, and like I said, it's 15% discount this week, and
Hmm.
come in, give it a try, and I think you're gonna like it.
This is really nice. I like this a lot.
Good.
All right. So, Ray, just so you know, I don't know, we got a couple things happening today, and I'll open up one now since you're here because I think we opened this last week, but
So you brought us something nice.
I did.
And now he's going to reach into the
Yeah, I'm gonna
cooler.
bring you some. No, this is nice too. Stop it.
No,
you're
I'm not
being-
saying
you're-
it's not nice, but it's now we're going to switch gears.
We're gonna switch gears. So we're gonna do everything today. We're gonna do wine, beer,
is chilled.
spirits. Yeah, we're gonna do everything today.
In
So
ice.
This is ice. This is Cold Harbor Brewing Company right down the street here in Westboro. This is the Julio's Liquors 50th anniversary. We did this last week, but it's being released today at 1:00 in store. You can come in and pick up one of these great cans. We just did the sort of the release party on Thursday night at Cold Harbor, which we had it on draft.
Thank you.
I had a couple of these, say the least. But this is 7% alcohol. This is a New England style IPA. I do like it because the great folks at Cold Harbor did one that's very well balanced. And I find a lot in these New England sort of IPAs, they
Over the
become
top.
they come over the top. They're over the top. This one here, I think, has got a really, like everybody's gonna try it. It's in that beer flavored beer category, where it actually still retains the beer, like almost like a traditional beer, but it does have that sort of juicy quality that you'd get in New England IPA. So try it. See what you guys think.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
really excited
It's
that
pretty
it's being
tasty.
released
It
today.
does taste like beer. I think that when you're talking about the Chardonnay being overly oaked or buttery, or IPAs that there's a real kind of art to making a high quality product that just delivers on the flavor.
Right.
And both these things, I feel
30
like are
seconds.
really in a nice pocket of good flavor. without having to be too
Do you
extreme.
like the spare, Ray?
I love it. I think it's absolutely delicious. It's not overly hoppy like
Yeah,
some of the
no, it's
IPAs.
really easy
Yeah,
drinking.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
sure
really
is.
easy to drink. I think everybody's gonna like
It's
it.
the Chardonnay of beers.
1 o'clock today. I
Yes.
think the brewmaster is going to be was said he was going
10
to stop by, so
seconds.
we'll see if that happens too. Randall, get us out of here.
Yeah, that's right. More of It's the Liquor Talking here on WCRN, AM 830 on your dial. We'll be back after these messages.
That's good.
Please stay tuned, and we'll continue with more on the Facebook feed.
Thanks, Ray. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Johnny. You want to come up? Oh, well, yeah, because we're going to do all stuff with our stuff today. You got it? Just watch your feet there, buddy. We got a lot of stuff going on today. We're hoping that by the way, the thing at Cold Harbor on Thursday was fantastic.
Now, Court Harbor is local, right?
Right, they're right down the street, right on Otis Street.
Okay.
They're
So
really
they're-
local. We're gonna have-
you teamed up with them. You did a great product. They did a release there at the actual brewery.
at the brewery, and then we're doing
and now you can actually
the
purchase
can
it
release, right.
today.
we only did like 100 cases of this,
Yeah.
so I think it's gonna go really fast. It's gone over really well. I know Johnny's tried it already too, so couple times already.
There's
We-
going to be a release party, and that starts at 1.
Yeah, there's a start. The official release inside the store is at 1 o'clock today. So, but there's a lot of stuff going on in the store today. And when we get back, I want to definitely go through some of that and talk about what we're doing on that. Since we're still in commercial
Video
break,
feed, yeah.
I wanted to go back and try our. We just picked. This is how quick we are. We just picked a whiskey this morning because Russ never sleeps and neither do we. This is a single barrel rye from Knob Creek. This one's at 131.9. This
On the
will
sample.
not on the sample. It will not be that way. It will not be that way in the bottle. It'll be at 115. They bring everything down to 115, which is fine for the. And I'm going to tell you right now. And this is what a lot of people don't get. We always taste things and sort of get them to what pick which one we like best, and then we bring them down to proof, meaning
Sure,
whatever the bottle is going to be, we bring it down to that, so we can do a really good judgment on that. So I think this one tastes better at the 115 than the 131.
Yeah,
personally, I just think. And we've talked.
Well, and a
about
lot
this
of
before.
people like to find those higher proof strength stuff. They like to have it at barrel strength. They don't like anyone adulterating it by adding water, but there is a sweeter spot. It comes out of the barrel at that point. Doesn't mean
Right.
that it's always the best tasting.
Right. People go like crazy and they think that, well, you can only have it that way. And I'm like, no, I usually take mine and bring it down a little bit. John's in a
This feels like it was in some kind of warehouse, like a warehouse C. Is that what? From what
No,
tastes-
it was C, but it wasn't in
Sample
warehouse
C.
C.
Sample
Yeah, this was
C,
in warehouse
A,
W.
W. Oh.
W 4-5, Rick House,
1 minute
Rick 23, and then tier 1.
And it just it brings me right back to when we picked and tasted this a good 20 minutes ago.
Well, people are like, I mean, considering when we tried this was like at around 10 o'clock this morning.
Yeah.
So people are like, oh my God. I go, that's like the perfect time for us to taste. People don't get there like,
Palate wise, yeah.
palate wise, after breakfast, before lunch is a great time. Your palate's really good. Although mine was a little off this morning and Johnny's was he's got a little bit of
30
allergy
seconds.
going on. So,
tree pollen time.
so but what do you
Mine
think?
was
It's still
just
okay?
Dialed in.
I think it's fantastic.
Randall was on target as usual, so we didn't have anything to worry about. That's what we usually taste in a group, though.
Mhm.
Because anybody's can be off a day and stuff like that. But this is going to be a new one coming out, and the name of this one, I guess I can tell you, is going to be
Okay,
C.
guys, 10 seconds.
With
Yes.
the Italian accent.
The Italian accent C, because we're Giulio's. All right, we're coming back. You ready?
Buona fiesta.
They cannot offend you because they know not what they say. Live from the Jim Beam Cold Storage Studio in the heart of Julio's Liquors, Route 9 in Westboro, it's the Liquor Talking with your hosts, Ryan Maloney and Spirits Medium, Randall Bird.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to It's the Liquor Talking right here on WCRN AM 830. And we are broadcasting from Julio's Liquors on Route 9 in Westboro. Go to juliosliquors.com for all the pertinent information. You can watch us on the Julio's Liquors Facebook page. This whole broadcast is live on that. You can rewatch it wherever you get your podcast. Just look for It's the Liquor Talking. And you can also go to WCRN AM 830 on the web, and you
Yep.
can find our show there too. So there's
listen
no
for it.
excuse not to listen to this show.
I have a lot of excuses as to why you would want to listen to the show, but yes, a variety of different
And all intents and
formats,
purposes.
yeah.
If you've noticed today that I am today's a very important today. You notice I'm wearing my Moxie hat today.
And I
This
have
is
my Moxie orange
orange shirt. Yeah, you get your
apron.
apron over there somewhere, which you'll have on later.
Yeah.
Well, today is Lock and Key Day. So Lock and Key is our whiskey society that we started in the early 2000s, early 2000s, right? And
Really a club of sorts.
it's a club and stuff, and it started that way. But it's where we do all of our barrel picking, all of our projects, all of our different things that we do that revolves around whiskey. This is, I believe, International Whiskey Day too.
Perfect.
So it sort of all ties in all nightly in a bow, and I know I did not plan it that way. But I will take the thing.
Best
Johnny on the spot is joining us on the dais today.
Hello, everybody.
Ray's back upstairs waiting for you to come try his Chardonnay. So here's the deal today. Saturday, May 18th, we're going to have tasting of Lock and Key picks and projects from 2 to 3. Now, anybody can come down and do that part of it. After that, we're going to have what we do is a redemption day. It's a whole card redemption day. And our whole card redemption, the whole card system is how we put out really hard to get stuff. It works all year round and stuff, but every once in a while we do something like the whole card redemption day, which you can come down and use your card to select something that you want to purchase.
Yep.
And harder to get stuff. Today is even more special because we're releasing 4 different barrels today.
Very excited.
2 projects and 2 straight barrels. So 2 of them you need a whole card for, 2 of them you don't. So I figured what we would do today is we would talk about the whiskeys that we are releasing today, and sort of go through it that way. Matter of fact, I think we should probably do. I want to do the French Kiss as our
drink of the show.
drink of the show.
I would not
All right.
object to that.
All right.
I'd also like to say, I am still a kid and a nerd at heart. So like, this whole Lock and Key thing, and then we're doing a big tasting today, and to be around all the bottles and putting the whiskey to sleep last night and all of that, I still get
He's really got this baby thing going
I
now.
still-
We do 3 men in a
exactly.
bottle,
I
and all of a sudden it's become really weird.
still get really excited about this stuff. I'm such just like,
Well,
it's so cool.
I think what we try and do with the Lock and Key and the Julio's picks is give something for people to get excited about.
Yeah.
There's a wall of whiskey at all sorts of stores around the area or the world. And we want to make sure that if you come here or you're tasting some of the stuff that we've picked, that it is somewhat special. So it's tricky. We've had long conversations about this, which if, at some point we'll put you to sleep with. But I wanted to point out one of the things that I've always been fascinated with, that the Lock and Key is spelled L-O-C-H
Yes.
and Key, K-E-Y. And that is a whiskey club. So Loch would represent Scottish whiskey, which doesn't spell it with an E-Y.
Right.
And the K-E-Y is all other whiskeys that would spell it with a K-E-Y. So a lot of people think it's just like some secret society. Yes, we have a handshake. Yes, we have the ultra militant arm of the Lock and Key Society. But it really is about a passion for whiskey from around the world.
Right.
Today, we're going to concentrate probably a little bit more on some American products.
We are actually. I got another one that we're going to do during the break that I wanted to go over with
Okay.
you guys. That's very different. It's going to be something cool. The first one though we're going to do is this is Randall and I are doing some of these sort of projects that we wanted to put through, and we're working with the great people at Copper and Cask to get these done. The first one we're tasting today for, of course, it's Randall. Want to tell them why it's in the mug?
Yeah, it's because in New England, it's nobody's business what's in our mug. But we like to start off the show. Now, El Rey has subverted it to some kind of wine nonsense. But we like to have a signature drink of the show. And that today is our drink of the show.
It's Lock and Key, the Copper and Cask It's called French Kiss. It's a 7-year-old weeded bourbon. Weeded bourbon means that the second ingredient after
45%
yeah.
wheat.
Yeah, this one has to be 51% corn, 45% wheat, and 4% malted barley. And I'll let Randall tell. This is at 62.7.
So this is a
percent
release
ABV?
that's coming out today. You can purchase it for the first time this afternoon.
Yeah, with a whole card.
But a lot of people have tasted this because we've been trotting around because we think that it's really been great stuff. As we waited for label approval, as we waited for everything to get cleared and stuff, we were bringing in samples. Armagnac finish, first use Armagnac cask finish on this weeded bourbon. Fantastic product, limited amount. Due to evaporative loss, due to whatever the situation is,
Yeah,
there's
just what-
probably only 120 bottles of this.
There was 24, 25 cases, period.
Yeah, so somewhere
Yeah.
in that region, probably a few more than I just quoted you.
Yeah, not a
But,
lot.
I found this to be fantastic. And just like when you're trying to picture the product before it gets done, you're trying to pair something that would go for that kind of soft, almost silky mouthfeel of the weeded bourbon with some light fruit notes or like kind of that French kiss of that flavor from being in the Armagnac cask.
You know, the funny part is that when we're talking about how we were going to do this and how we were going to put these things through, we started with a very, very nice weeded bourbon.
It was delicious on its own. Yeah.
Delicious on its own. And as a matter of fact, there were some naysayers saying, "What are you going to do? You're going to do something weird.
It's going
and
to
you're
ruin
going
it.
to ruin it." And I go, "No, we're not going to ruin it. This is the whole point of this project. Is we think that Randall and I think that weeded bourbons, especially, show finishes and cask influence better than high rise. So we really wanted to show off what could be done with weeded bourbons. And the whole point of this and why it's called French Kiss is we wanted the Armagnac barrel to have the slightest influence on this, not to overwhelm it, just a kiss, like you said, a kiss of the Armagnac that you could taste through.
Yep.
And I think mission accomplished.
That's a special whiskey right there. I got to spend some time with it and take some notes, and
Yeah.
wow,
I mean,
pretty fantastic.
like we always mention this with the second one that we've paired up and will be selling as a release today. The second one gets probably a little bit more attention because it's a little bit more out there. But I think that in terms of the quality, the drinkability, and the long-term flavor profile that you'd find, this is the winner between the two of them.
And
That said, I have a
You want
special
to do?
place in
You
my
want to do?
heart
You
for
want to do the next
Moxie-
one? Yeah.
Moxie finish.
Well, let's do the thing. You know, so I have my Moxie hat on today. We'll do that. The next one that we're releasing today is called Roxy.
And this is a rye as
This is a
opposed to a
rye.
bourbon. And this is an 8-year rye.
It's an 8-year rye, 95.5. So 95% rye whiskey that we're using this from MGP. Actually, let me give this to her first. Studio audience
Studio
here today.
audience gets a sip.
And I'll give it to you guys. So this is we've done something totally different. We used a 30-gallon barrel. You want to
Sure.
you want to explain?
30-gallon barrel. We took Moxie, degassed it because you don't want the CO2 influence in it. Coated the inside and let it sit in the barrel as though we were barrel aging a soda, which is a style that used to happen quite often with ales, root beers, sarsaparillas, because they would make it with the same kind of process
and you
as brewing, but without alcohol.
and you cook the soda too to reduce the
Well,
water,
after
right?
after it sat in the barrel and got soaked in and absorbed the wood into the wood, we emptied that, and then I reduced stuff down. There's a small
There's a
sample here,
tincture of it here.
but took that soda and put it back into a syrup, which you might be able to find soda syrups typically for things, but Moxie,
Yeah.
because it's such a low production stuff, you can't find it. It doesn't go into machines or do any of that stuff.
But that's now you've concentrated it back down, but it's been barrel aged now.
right.
So it's totally different.
Barrel aged. It doesn't have some of that, and it actually comes off a little bit sweeter than I think some of the kind of bitter notes that you might get with an Amaro kind of flavor.
As a friend of mine said, well, Moxie and described it, I think, quite aptly as a carbonated Amaro. You know, if you're a New Englander, you know what Moxie is, and you know it's as Randall and I say, it's shades of battery acid and waterboarding. It's not for everybody. So, but it's a very intense, like herbal flavor profile.
Yep.
And one of my favorite drinks is a Moxie and rye. So we decided, okay, let's how can we take those and do this? Randall and I talked, and we came up with this way of sort of like, okay, let's try this. And then this is a very experimental thing. I don't think there's many soda finished whiskeys out there.
Right.
But it's gonna, and I don't think you could do with everything, but it
Too
definitely
many.
does work with Moxie.
Yeah. And so
This is called Roxy.
right. But I think that we spend more time talking about the Roxy,
Yeah.
the Moxie
It's just
Finished
so different.
Rye,
It's so
which has a slightly less barrel case capacity than the French Kiss.
right.
But as I was saying before, and as with John, I think you jump in here, but side by side, I think that the French Kiss is a better whiskey overall.
Oh yeah.
But the Roxy is a more interesting one in terms of the story and the flavors and the backstory of it.
And I think with the other part of this too, and it works.
Yeah.
It does. It really does.
It works. People are like, that's not going to work. I guess it so works.
That finish, the subtleness on that finish, it's distinctly there. It's unique.
Yeah.
Because you
very
don't
cool.
want it to overwhelm.
No.
And then at some point, if you had this reduction or this small tincture, you could put it into a cocktail or whatever as like a bitter or a flavoring component and really kind of kick it up a notch. So we had a lot of fun with this project.
Yeah, so
And it was
you know what's
tribute
really
to
fun?
Moxie, which a lot of people are divided on this. So
What really was fun is emptying out like 5 cases of Moxie
Yeah.
into a glass carboy to start gassing it.
Yeah.
Which that took about a week to do.
Yep.
So it was finally all flat.
Yep.
You know, and then taking off some of the water and then putting it into the barrel, getting off some of the water and putting it into the barrel, and then
30
basically waiting 4 months before you could even take the Moxie out and start working with the rye that
The
we
rye.
picked.
And then it was fairly quick from that point to the
Yeah.
finish. But
Check
yeah.
out the video that's out there.
We got a video out there. So it's on Instagram and stuff like that. And we got a couple other things that are going to be happening on that and sort of the backstory of this, which is it's interesting because no one really does anything like this.
Sure.
All right, we're going to take a commercial break from the radio portion. Please follow us on the Facebook Live feed, and there'll be more whiskeys and more of the events that are happening later today when we come back.
I love French Kiss. I
Yeah,
think it's
it's
just
amazing.
so well
Amazing.
put together. But Roxy is one of those type of things that's just like so different
Yeah.
that, again, that one's
They're-
going to get all the attention and stuff.
They're absolutely
But-
incredible.
But, like Randall
Well,
said, the longevity of something like French Kiss is just, and by the way, there's not many people that are doing like these type of things with a 45% wheated bourbon too. I mean,
Right.
it's just-
And we had an
yeah.
exceptional single barrel of the wheated bourbon. And so we took it in a slightly different direction with careful
careful
watching
consideration. We
of-
didn't want to
right,
screw
like
this
you
up.
have to like taste it fairly regularly and bring it to the point where it's ready to be bottled. And I think we did a nice job on it. But in the true world of whiskey, this is much more of a traditional kind of approach, although I've never really seen that combination together. But in what we think the future of a lot of this stuff is in the innovation. So currently looking at some other kind of soda or tea or other types of finishes that we can bring to some products, and we'll see how that journey goes. But
You can't be afraid to
you,
dip your toes in this and do something
I
totally.
mean, we can always do traditional stuff or ask that of traditional companies, but where the innovation is where I think I'm getting excited about going into areas that people are and exploring these areas
Right.
where
Whether it's barrel, whether it's type of
Right.
finishing, where it's this, but it's always, again, you're starting with, I don't want to get the funny part is like, oh, so you had a bad one. You had a bad barrel, so you put, you took it and you put like, you put it in cognac to fix it.
Yeah.
No, not at all. This is the exact opposite. We wanted the cognac
Yeah.
influence on a fantastic barrel.
well here's
and we had a lot of people going like, "You're stupid. You don't do this."
1
Just-
minute.
So,
So-
we're stupid, but that's not the point.
So like the fanboy in me is going to come out for a second here and be sitting in between you guys and having a front row seat to some of these projects. I have to say has been amazing and fun. I love the spirit of what you guys are doing and the whole thing or whatever. If you guys can see me on camera right now, these are not Star Wars Admiral Akbar pin that the pin that I'm wearing there, these are actually paint pens. So if you guys come find me, I'm putting Ryan and Randall on the
30
spot
seconds.
to have them sign the bottles.
Sure.
I know you guys are humble and you wouldn't bring that up, but if other people are out there, it's the fan of me is what's driving.
That's right.
that,
We
right?
can sign your bottle and instantly the street
It
value
goes right
drops.
down. It
Yeah.
drops right
So,
down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the
If
thing
you want to
is like,
devalue your stuff, we have no problem doing that for you.
they cannot be returned once they're
10 seconds.
That's right.
All right. Well, I think we're going to come out of this kind of commercial break and be back with a drink of the show question. Is that?
Yeah, we're going
what's
to do
on
the drink of the
horizon?
show question. I
Okay.
think why not? And I'm going to give you
What do you get when you mix a spirit specialist extraordinaire with Lord Supreme Commander of the Gardens? You get It's the Liquor Talking with Ryan Maloney and Spirits Medium Randall Bird, live from the Jim Beam Cold Storage Studio in Julio's Liquors.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to It's the Liquor Talking right here on WCRN AM 830. Hey, listen, if you want to follow me on Instagram, you can go to Whiskey Journeyman, no E in Whiskey Journeyman on Instagram. Johnny is up there. What's your handle?
Frisky Whiskey on Facebook and Whiskey Frisky on Instagram.
Instagram. And
And
John just
then-
did some great reviews of the two whiskeys we just tried, French Kiss and Roxy. Did a great reviews on both of those.
That was
John's stuff is not actually to rate or anything like that.
don't
It's
do that.
reviews. The reviews are to actually give you, this is what it tastes like. Take it or leave it. Here's what I'm thinking.
And
Here's
every-
what I go.
and everybody's palate's different too.
Yeah,
so
no,
so
but-
the whole point of it is just, again, it's like
Putting yours
me
out there.
being a whiskey nerd and just having fun and just
Right.
it actually came out of Lock and Key. So we've been talking about Lock and
Right.
Key, right? So I used to do some scribe notes of various tastings, and then I would put my own notes in there, and then everybody kept asking me to post it. And that's how that whole thing
Right.
started.
So
Just-
Frisky
Now
Whiskey
I've
on-
seen the book and it starts out, Dear Diary. I had a
love-
tough day today,
I had
but
a tough
today
day.
I sampled some.
Yes.
it's
Exactly.
it's a tough
lot of
decision
feelings
to
in there, I
make.
think.
Exactly. Yes.
Well, I should let's do the Fever Tree question of the show
Okay.
today. I think we need to get that done. If you're playing along at home or you're on Facebook, you can feel free to answer. But here is the Fever Tree question of the show. When was the first known printed use of the word mixologist? And I will give you the I've been trying not to do this, but I must give you the A 1929, B 1986, C 1856, or D 2001. When was the first known printed use of the word mixologist?
I think I have an answer.
All right, I'll go with
I-
you,
I-
Johnny,
I,
first.
I could be way wrong, but I think this is a more recent term, so I'm going with 2001.
John says
D.
D 2001. Randall, I'll give them to you one more time.
Yeah.
A is 1927.
No, I
B
got
is
it. I got it.
1886. 1986, excuse me. 1856 or 2001.
This may not be true, but I want it to be 2001.
You want it to be 2001. You
Because
think about
for
4th of
years, for
Lil?
decades, centuries, it was a bartender.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then all of a sudden somebody's like, whoa,
Right.
I'm not a bartender. I'm a mixologist.
Exactly.
I'm a liquid engineer. And then they started.
Well,
changing
liquid
all this-
engineer, my feet.
Right. Like
Studio audience? 1986?
86 is.
1986,
Yeah.
which
I
she's
feel like
yeah.
it's recent,
Yeah.
but I don't know.
I feel the same.
Mr. Smith on Facebook got this absolutely correct. It is 1856.
Holy moly.
1856 was the first use of the word or the term mixologist. It was actually in Knickerbocker magazine. Was the
Yeah.
first time. So
New York.
yeah, in New York. So it's the first time. So we're, but it sort of
It was
makes
in
sense. Don't you
Gag-
sort of think of like,
Gadfly Journal.
it's the-
Like,
yeah,
really
exactly.
old-time-
exactly. No, but it's, if you start thinking about it, it's sort of like that total era where they would be starting to use, like they would make words fit what they wanted to do. So isn't that sort of like Victorian, like sort of that
Yeah.
time space? It's
What's
not
the first printed use of the word hipster? That's what we really should get to.
Well, that's what these are going back to anyway.
Yeah.
So the first known printed use of the word mixologist is from Knickerbocker magazine. I looked it up because I want to make sure.
Wow.
Knickerbocker
Oh,
magazine.
you went through your old Knickerbocker
Yes, I did.
magazines and-
That's it. From 1856 was the first time the term
in your smoking jacket.
This is a
Is there
very
another way?
this is a very educational show.
Useless
This is
information.
useless
Yes,
information.
but
It's never.
but yes, John, you are correct. We'll
Yes.
go with that. For all the all the moms listening at home, it's so educational. All right. I have we have 2 more barrels that we're releasing today.
Yeah.
So I figured we'd go through those. The first one we're gonna do is, and I think it deserves some stuff. The first one I'm gonna do is Encore. Now, Encore is the 8th time,
Eighth version.
8th
Eighth wonder of
version.
the world.
You want to explain what Maker's Mark Private Selection is, Randall?
Yeah.
On board
John,
with
you know what it is?
Sure,
You
the
wanna jump
stainless steel ring that's at the top where they hang off various combination of flavor staves that are different woods that then impart that flavor into the whiskey. Am I off?
in? And using the base Maker's
46.
liquid.
No, they use the base to make Maker's at cast strength because 46
Yeah.
has staves in it. That's how they get the 46.
Gotcha.
So they're using a product, and to customize the product, they allowed retailers or some very special people to participate in picking the 10 staves. Over time, these staves have changed due to availability, due to popularity. And so this is the 8th version using these staves because we were grandfathered in about halfway through.
Roasted French mocha is not in production anymore.
Right.
So the only way you could use that stave is if you were grandfathered in, they had enough staves. So there's 1,001 combinations using the current the current we started with stave combination. There is now a new stave that's taken the French the roasted French mocha's place.
Yep.
So now there's another 1,001 combination. This one here that you're trying today cannot be done. It is the one because it uses a stave that's no longer
Right.
being used. And we thought that we had the last one. We had never told anybody the stave combination we had used. Through the first 6 times we had done this, it was Codex Redux, Triple X, If It Ain't Baroque, Mystery Machine Rides Again. And then we finally came out with Reveal. And
Where we revealed
we
what our
revealed-
stave combination is, which typically other retailers or other stores have put their stave combination
Yeah,
on the bottle.
we said
put
no.
question mark.
Yeah, we put question marks. We said no. We're not letting anybody know what it is. We finally did because no one could copy it.
Right.
No one could copy that particular one. So I got a call from the guys at Maker's Mark and said, "Hey, we found some more staves. Not many, but do you want to do another one?" I said, "Well, how many do you have? Can we do more than one?" And they said, "We may be able to do 2, but we definitely can do 1." I said, "Okay, we will do 1, and this one is called Encore."
Encore.
So all 7 of the previous iterations
Yep.
have
Versions.
been-
Yep.
versions have sold out. So it's been very, very popular stave combination, and they changed slightly. There's no way you can be the same on all these.
Because each barrel, the amount of time in each barrel
Yeah.
adds a slightly different
Different
twist to it.
taste.
You can't
So this
control
one
that.
is Encore. This has you can see this is a 110.1 proof. We use, I'll just tell you, it's 2 seared French cuvee staves, 4 Maker's Mark 46, John, alluding to the one that you did, 3 roasted French mocha, and 1 toasted French spice. So
Now-
that's the combination of the 10 staves that went in this, and it goes into a cave at Maker's Mark. So the
Relatively
only
low
influence,
temperature.
the only influence on the whiskey after it's put back in the barrel with the staves in it is the staves. There's nothing else there's no variance in temperature or anything like that.
Yeah.
It just sits there for about 3-4 months. And what comes out, it's like a tea bag. You'd put like
Yeah,
a tea bag in it.
sure.
Whatever flavor it's going to give you, this is it.
Now, having had them all, right? I'm a
Mhm.
proud owner of 1 through 7. Here's number 8.
Yeah.
Maybe this has to do with whatever whiskey is my favorite is the one in my hand.
Yeah.
But I have to say, I think this might be my favorite of the lot.
I
This
got to
is
tell you,
really good.
reveal, other than Codex, which was the first one, I think Reveal, which was the last one, it's a couple bottles kicking around, I think, upstairs, was really good. This has got a new dimension to it.
Yeah.
That's really, really nice.
They're
It's
all
got it like
different.
almost like a richer flavor to it.
It's
Yeah.
The Encore.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to see because technically these should come out pretty much the same.
Well, everything is identical, and then you have the wild card of whatever that little
Yeah.
particular wood barrel is that you're using. So they're getting it very
This is
consistent
going to be
for what they
extremely
add
popular.
to it, and
I
we're
think
getting
so.
very consistent with the staves that you put into it. And these staves are a combination nobody else can do. When we run out of these things, we're going to be, in trouble because
Well,
we're gonna have
we've
to-
done other ones. So we've
Right.
we've done a really nice one working with the guys at Fireflies. We do Pitmaster Prime. That's up to number 3 already. Those have been really
because
popular.
it was designed to be paired with barbecue,
Barbecue.
and food
Yeah.
that you're eating. Yeah.
And then we did one Rock Around Town, which was had a different stave combination,
Yep.
which was also pretty popular. But when we got the chance to do this one again, we said we got to take it. We got to take the chance to do it again.
It's been a very popular
It's been a
series.
very
2 minutes.
popular one. So
55.05 ABV on that, but I think it doesn't even.
no,
It's such.
It's
an
all
easy
flavor.
drink. Yeah, it's
And
gorgeous.
it's soft. It's kind of rich and
it's got a rich
coating
rich,
kind
rich
of
note to
quality.
it.
Yeah, it's very delicious.
So that is going to be re-released today. That is for general release. So anybody, you don't need a whole card or whatever. You can come in and purchase that up.
This
It's
is a-
$80.
A release and catch program. So if you come
Yeah.
into the store and you can grab one of these while it's running around free range.
It's free range. You can take it home with you.
Yeah.
If you
get
if
to
you go
pick it
through
up.
the register first. Let's put
right,
that up
right,
there.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, you never know.
Well, that's the catch.
That's the catch.
You have
Yes,
to
that's
pay
the
for it.
catch. You have to pay for it.
I know there's been a few Maker's Mark fans that have come through the aisles, and they've talked about some very limited edition Maker's Mark stuff that they've been trying. That's not around anymore that they've been trying to get. And once they realized that we had the Mocha staves that came out in the reveal, they've been buying up all the other stuff that's up there. They're like, "Oh my gosh,
1 minute.
that's the one. That's the stave I've been looking for."
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it has a good amount in it, and it's really, it is one of those type of things that actually does. It shows.
I had a guy
Like
he got really excited up in the aisle like last week when he saw that the reveal. I
We
think
did
he
some, by the
bought a
way, we
couple
did some,
tickets of it.
what we call vault releases of the different,
Yeah, which
the
is really
different
cool.
barrels.
Yeah,
So I think this upstairs now, I want to say there's like triple X, and there might be
that's one of my favorites.
triple X, and I think there's a Rides Again.
Right.
or-
I think there's
30
both.
seconds.
There's both
There's
Mystery
both.
Machine and
There's
Mystery Machine Rides
Rides
Again. So we always hold some back, and then we do like these vault releases, and they're out there now. So there's quite a few ones
Yeah.
that you can actually grab. Which is sort of
and
cool.
they're all just they're so each one has its own unique character, right? There's some butterscotch, chocolate,
Yep.
and all that stuff. But yeah, they're
All right, Randall.
Yeah, we've got to take yet
10
another
seconds.
commercial break. We'll be back just a few minutes after that. Continue to watch if you have a morbid curiosity and see what this looks like and what we're doing in
Morbid.
visual
Morbid.
terms. Facebook Live
Okay.
broadcast. So we'll be
Cool.
back on the other side. Please stay tuned to the radio.
All right, I wanted to do something. I want to do something different. You guys have not tried this yet. This is a so everybody knows Lock and Key. We're sort of on break, so I figured this would be a good one. So everybody sort of knows Lock and Key that we've been doing, but occasionally, Brett Pontoni, who's the big buyer at Binny's in Chicago, and I are friends, and we try to do some projects. Try to do like at least one a year. If we can do more than that, we do more of that on our schedules and stuff like that. So we try to have a couple projects going. It was Brett's turn to come up with the project. He came up with one, and this is it. It's been sitting down in Sagamore
Baltimore, yeah.
in Baltimore for a
boy.
couple of years now, and now we're getting samples being sent up, saying
wow.
asking us if it's ready or not. So this is a cognac park finish. Brett knows more about this one than I do because this is it was his
And
turn.
you'll have more information.
I'll
but
have
he
more
just sent
information.
you the sample.
He sent me the
bottle to
sample
see.
bottle. So it's a cognac. So I can tell you right now that it was barreled in the cognac bottle 1/4/2022. So it's been in the cognac bottle for a couple years now. This is at
a larger size barrel. Yeah.
yeah, this has been at this is at 120.18 proof.
loads
So
of orchard fruit right on the
so
nose.
try this and see what you guys
Oh,
think. Is it
wow.
well the big question with this, of course, I'm gonna be talking to Brett. Is it ready? Because these things change. We tried this probably like I want to say like 8 months ago, maybe. And him and I both agreed that no, it needed more time. It wasn't quite ready. So you see what you guys think of this one and see if we're ready to bottle.
Oh, here's the tricky thing for the listeners. More doesn't always mean it continues to keep getting better.
No, you got to
So if
capture
you
the
feel that
lightning
this
in a
is
bottle.
really good, then we would want to say yes on this. This is delicious, by the way.
Mm.
I think
I'm not sure what he's going to try and push more out if
I don't
Brett
think
is
so.
voting for something else. He may have some inside scoop for another month or two, but I think this is fairly close to being ready.
I think to not contradict you, but to agree with you totally, I think this is dead on. I if we
If-
bottle this in the next couple months, it
Yeah.
won't change that much.
It'll change slightly,
Well,
but
but
it
it won't
won't
be-
go
yeah.
into a dive and then come back out of
You get that
which a
sort
lot
of
of
like
people
the
don't
cross
realize,
lines, right?
is that it's not always an increase. It'll kind
No.
of go on weird, awkward directions
Yep.
and then come out of again. So you don't want to go into an awkward stage of this.
Right.
But I don't know. He's going to have to make the decision with you, but I feel like this is very, very close to being ready. By the time there's a slight delay between you approve this and then when it
And they
gets
get
bottled,
they get
it
into
may add another month or two, but I don't
Right.
think that's going to change.
no, it won't
anything
change it
that's
enough. And
negative.
that you got to again, we got to get in the production run. We got to get in the bottling lineup.
Right.
So we say yes, and it may be another month before
right.
it gets
1 minute.
bottled.
I don't
anyway.
think that's a problem, but
I don't think that's
I
a
wouldn't go much longer than
No, I think
another
it's
month or
ready.
two,
So that being said, keep an eye out. Probably, I would say probably this year for Brett and I do a thing. He's in Chicago, right? So any project that we do together is called U.S. Mail. Us, him and I, us, M.A. Massachusetts, I.L. Illinois, U.S. Mail project.
so tricky.
So those
30
that'll be coming out. Those have been really popular when we've done those, both here and in Chicago. What does the studio audience think? Likes it? You like it? All right, good. And we'll try a couple people on that today, see what their feelings are on it today, just to get feedback and stuff. So it's fun. It's fun.
All right.
All
I
right,
think
so-
we're returning
All
back
right,
to the
10
show.
seconds,
10
guys.
seconds,
Here
we're
we
gonna go back. All right, we got one more whiskey we definitely have to try. Pushing you guys. If I don't push, you don't do.
The concierge of all things alcohol, Ryan Maloney, and the medium of spirits, Randall Bird, join forces every week to bring audio nourishment to a parched audience. Live from the Jim Beam Cold Storage Studios in the heart of Julio's Liquors, Route 9 in Westboro, it's the Liquor Talking.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to It's the Liquor Talking right here on WCRN AM 830. I am your host, Ryan Maloney, along with the spirits medium to the gods himself, Mr. Randall J. Bird, and Johnny on the spot himself, John Hendricks, otherwise known as Frisky Whiskey. We're all here sitting at the dais drinking whiskey and
Watching
having
you pour out samples like some kind of mad scientist.
and that's
over there.
scientist. Let me pass these down for you guys to try.
All right.
All right. So today we're having a 4-barrel release. Today is Lock and Key Day. We're doing a tasting. We're doing double punch day for whole cards. We're doing we got barrels for sale, like empty barrels for sale. It's crazy. We got a whole bunch of stuff going on. We got a pop-up lock and key shop going on upstairs. And we're doing a whole car redemption day today. It's all over the place. But the more important thing is we get to drink whiskey.
It's a blast for the whiskey enthusiast.
I know
right?
if
Is
it's
that what you're
raining
saying? You're
outside,
unloading all 4 barrels. at the
if
same
it's
time?
raining
kinda like-
outside, the weather is always good inside a liquor store. So this one that I just poured for you guys today is from the Rare Characters. It's from the Exceptional series. I'm very kind that I get to try some of their stuff and go down and pick things. This is a Lock and Key. This one's called Cloud 9. This is a Kentucky straight malt whiskey. This is at 134.7. The age
Yeah.
on this is 9 years and 9 months. And it's not a thing. It's barrel number EM14-108. This happens to be bottle number 67
Dash 108, or is that?
dash 108. Yeah, we're on the way off.
You're reading out these statistics, but
Yeah, it doesn't
this
make a
is
difference. But
gonna
I
be
can
called
tell you,
Cloud 9,
Cloud 9.
9 years, 9 months, and it's a malt whiskey.
It is from Kentucky.
So what my first initial taste was like, bam, that had some zing to it because it's a malt whiskey tends to be one of the spicier
Yeah.
whiskeys. But on top of that, 134 or whatever that
Oh
proof
yeah,
was,
it's not for the faint of heart.
this definitely has some kick to it.
I'm sorry. Did you say something? I'm on cloud 9 right now.
These
Come back to earth.
these Rare Character ones that we've been able to get for the straight malt whiskey series have been stunning. This is not as old as the last one we had, which was like 13, 14
Yep.
years old. This one
This
I
is
think is a better whiskey. And when I tasted them, I said the same thing. And when we could get them, the older one came first just because it did. It didn't really,
Right.
it had no rhyme or reason. But I was actually really waiting for Cloud 9 to come because this 9-year-old 9-month is fan.
I love American
Fantastic.
single malts, and this is, I think that's
It's so
what's
rich.
stunning.
It's so
really good.
Yeah. What do you think, Randall?
I love single malts.
Too.
So, I mean,
Is that what you're leaving it at?
yeah, no. I mean, I guess that, I don't know. It's just malt whiskey. Don't get me started on this.
That was like sort of a different tune on that one.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, so malt whiskey is going to be 100% malted barley.
Right.
And there has been a play recently with several companies trying to make an argument for the rise of American single malt.
Correct.
But the term single malt is a Scottish term. It's American malt whiskey. But single malt is specific to Scotland, meaning it comes from one distillery. So if you're going to co-opt single malt, you're riding in on the Scottish reputation.
Right.
But you're saying, oh, no, but we're American single malt.
Right.
But you're also going to be held to a different set of rules or standards in what you're doing, which I don't think the American malt whiskey wants to be held to, because they can use different kinds of casks. They can do different terms in terms of blending products or batching things together.
As a nerd, question.
Yeah.
So does Ireland use the term single malt?
No.
No, they don't. It's just Irish malt.
It's malt whiskey, but
Malt
what's
whiskey.
name a malt whiskey from Ireland?
There are some.
There are, but like they'll do pot still or whatever.
Right, they'll call it pot
call
still, right.
Gotcha.
which is specific to the Irish industry. But I mean, it's a semantic thing. They wanted to ride in on the coattails of Scottish whiskey, which has a huge following around the world, and say, but no, we're American versions of Scottish whiskey. I already think you've lost some of your cachet long term, because you're making a different product and it's good, but you have to be able to talk about it as that product. That said, what we're tasting here is delicious.
Yeah,
It
all
is
that
from
said
a
is
single
really
distillery.
delicious.
It
It's
is
delicious.
malt whiskey.
Yeah,
but
unnamed, unknown, or unnamed source. I don't really give a what. Tastes delicious. Really great.
And that's what people should be concentrating on. So I just
You're gonna get to
derailed the
try
whole
this
thing.
today. We're gonna have this open today. Johnny will have this open after today if you can't make today, but it will be open. Since it's International Whiskey Day, one of the things that I wanted to do, and this is sort of a full circle type thing, I love when stuff like this happens, is I poured you out, speaking of single malt scotch, I poured you out another sample, and it is truly a sample. So this is it's a Single Cask Nation Fetterkin 2012. This is a cask sample. We're looking to do this hopefully as a new as a Massachusetts independent retail shop offering. So the Unholy Alliance. We hope to get this out to a lot of people. But how this came about is Joshua Haddon's a good friend of ours. He tasted this and he said, all I could think of when I tasted this was Boba Fetterkin.
Yeah.
Which we did.
I was going to say that.
We did a Boba Fetterkin. It's Fetterkin. We said, oh, Boba Fetterkin, because it would be really funny to do it that way, because it was just off. And he goes, because of that, I just immediately thought of that whiskey, which I love. And he said, this was so good. He immediately approached, he said, you have to try this.
Yeah.
Jenga Fettercan?
Huh? Jenga Fetterkin.
Yeah.
So it may be.
But Fettercairn, of course, is the name of the distillery, the name of the product that's going to come out. And we had a single barrel pick from a distillery that's not typically showcased in the United States. You can find it in some limited release or single barrel or single cask release, like Single Cask Nation. But we named it Boba Fettercairn because we didn't.
Because we're idiots.
Sued by Disney Star Wars.
Still have some. Yeah.
It's really good. But when he
This
said
is before the Mandalorian, by the way.
yes, it is. It is absolutely
predates
before the
that,
moment.
so.
And the funny part is, and if you can see, I got there's my Mandalorian bobblehead, and I got the symbol behind Randall over there somewhere and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So and I got Boba Fett's head in the a box over here. But the whole point is that, you know, he said, here, I want you to try these. And I go, this is the one you wanted me to pick, isn't it? And he's like, yes.
So there was a
Because
variety, but
there was a
this is one-
variety, but
this-
I go like, he just wanted to see if I'd pick the same one.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, this is really good Fetterkin. And on the nose, you get like this
Yeah.
caramel, like almost like Werther's butterscotch on the nose. It's just, it's insane. And then the flavor combination, once you hit your palate, you
rich
get the
like oat
saline
biscuits and
biscuits,
other terminology that we don't typically associate with
Odie
American,
cakes.
American whiskeys, but a fantastic product. So hopefully you're going to get this, but this will be distributed to several stores.
What we
but only in
want to do,
Massachusetts.
and this is what Josh and I talked about it. I said, you know,
2 minutes.
some of these things are sort of hard to do as a single store because they're not inexpensive. This is a 12-year-old, which is great,
Yeah.
but they're not inexpensive. They're cast strength. They're this, they're that, and not everybody's going to move them and stuff. What we wanted to do is a sort of a series of single barrels that would go out to like maybe like 5 or 6 shops in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
That you would get one after the other. So we sort of label them as, you know, 1, 2, 3 type
Right.
thing. Maybe, you know, naming them so the names make sense that way.
Love it.
But and let people in different parts is that because the only way we're going to get people to understand some of the stuff is to have them try it. And you don't want one store sitting on a bunch of bottles that they're not moving. So this
Or
is sort of
only
a-
having it concentrated in
in
that
one area,
geographic
right.
Yep.
So we're talking about doing this. This would be like sort of the first one that we would do. He's probably going to get ticked because I'm talking about it on the radio, but I think it's important to talk about because it's one of those type of things is that
1 minute.
all ships rise, and we're worried about the whiskey, not so much that it has to be just Julio's.
Yeah.
Right. So, listen,
And that said, because you won't say it, 50th anniversary of Julio's.
it is the
and you've
50th
got a lot
anniversary of
fun
Julio's
stuff going
Liquors.
on,
Yes,
yeah.
we got a lot of stuff going on, including today, which is Lock and Key Day. We have some great vault releases. This is our whole card, which is our thing. You look it up on juliusliquors.com. It's how we do hard to get stuff.
30
We are
seconds.
doing a tasting of all of our single barrels that are in stock right now. You got nothing else to do today. It's raining outside. We got barrels. We got barrel heads for sale. We got T-shirts. We got everything else going on. Stop on down. Julia's Liquors, 140 Turnpike Road in Westboro. Go to juliosliquors.com.
Thank you for listening.
10 seconds.
It's the liquor talking, and we appreciate your ears and attention as we talk about so many of the things that we're passionate about, and we're hoping we're getting you excited about that as well. So join us next week as we continue with other broadcasts. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Thanks,
Great
Dad.
job, guys.
Thanks, Dad.
Thank you, Ryan.